Oh, I have
Yeah.
a question. I have a question. So, I had a cat one on Spring,
Mhm.
and now I'm trying to open the cat. It doesn't let me to open, so I have to sign in again.
When you open up the
Yeah,
drawer,
when I
I,
open the
I,
cat, yeah, it doesn't allow me to. It just I had some boxes to sign in, but when I sign in, it doesn't. It shows me that it doesn't recognize my email. So I don't know what's happening.
oh, so you're not able to open
Yes,
AutoCAD.
yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, what I would suggest you do, what has probably happened is your AutoCAD has expired. So, what do we do with that? Uh,
That it made me sign in again also, but then after I did that, it's working fine.
Okay.
okay. All
Um,
right. So maybe that's all you need to do is just sign in again over at the Autodesk file full site, right? Or here in AutoCAD.
AutoCAD lets you, it like prompts you. If you see at the top of your screen, Paul, it says sign in at like the top right. There's like
Oh,
next to the search bar. So you can do
so
it there. And
right
it
here.
might prompt you to do like it makes you do like two-factor authentication sometimes. So it might just be like you have to do another step to let it
Okay.
log you on in.
All right. So try that. Go up
okay.
here and then sign in from there so that you AutoCAD is recognizing you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good question though. That hadn't even occurred to me that might be an issue.
Mm.
All right. So what I have open is Project 8. And mine may look a little different than yours. Mine might be a little more abbreviated. Yours probably has more lighting that goes down here and more switching, maybe some more dimensions, maybe some more furniture, but and maybe your colors might be a little bit different, but more or less, your Project 8 should look, similar to this one. And I also have three tabs down here. I have my floor plan. Let me just zoom extent here. I have my floor plan, I have my furniture plan, and I have a lighting plan here. All right, I'm going to go back into model space. And we're going to start working on this to add elevations to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save it, or I'll do a save as. I'm going to give it a new name, and I'm going to save it in my CAD 2 folder. So let me just go to my jump drive here, and I'm going to go to CAD 2 and projects. And I created a folder here for Project 8. You could do that or not, but I'm just going in there and I'm going to call this, I already have my Project 8 Part 3A, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it Project 8 Elevations, just so I know that that's going to be about elevations. All right, so there it is, saved, Project 8 Elevations. And we are ready to rock and roll. So wait, before I rock and roll, let me just look at the handout here. So so what we're going to do is we're going to add some elevations here. I've got a south and a west and a north elevation. We're going to have a key plan, and then down here we're going to do a building section later on, and that's going to go on sheet 4. So each of the elevations are, this is the kitchen area here, and this is the side elevation of the new family room. That's a end elevation, or the west elevation, with the fireplace, and we have some bookshelves over on the left and right. And then we've got north elevation. This is with that sliding glass door that goes outside. So, so that's our goal, is to do these elevations. Now, what I'm going to do for today, I will probably get to, I will probably get through this and these two elevations today. And then tomorrow or next week, what I will do is this elevation, and then we're going to set it up on the sheets, and then we will look at the at the building section. And then I think it's the week after when you turn all of this in. So there's nothing actually really due for you this coming week, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, you know, keep up with this. I don't want you to be overloaded with, you know, with all of this work, because it's a fair amount of drawing that you're going to be needing to do for these. So we're going to start out with this elevation. And if you have it printed, awesome. If not, that's okay. Just follow along, and I'm going to add some dimensions here for certain things, particularly around the fireplace area, which isn't dimensioned at all. And we'll give you some hatch patterns and stuff like that to get you going. So this is our goal, is to get this done, and if we can, get this elevation done today. All right. Let me go back to my AutoCAD drawing here. So when we're drawing elevations, we're going to be looking at this wall here, and we're going to be looking at this wall back here, and we're going to be looking at this wall. So these will be our three elevations. Hold on just 1 second. My notes. Those are our three elevations, and we already have, we've carefully drawn these elevations with the windows, and the windows are, you know, specific sizes with mullions, and it's in specific locations. And when we draw the elevations, it would be nice to use these walls as a guide to help us get those elevations in the right spot. So, you know, those windows and this millwork, et cetera, in the right spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these walls over off here to the right, so that I can use them as a guide to help me out when I'm doing my elevations. So for right now, what I don't need is all of this other stuff that's on my drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze it all. And there's a couple ways to freeze, if you remember. So I'll just go through both of them right now. And I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set my current layer to line weight medium right down here. So line weight medium is my current layer, and I'm going to be doing most of my drawing of my elevations on line weight medium. So I need to change to that layer anyway, so I may as well just do it right now. Now, I pretty much don't need anything else, really. I don't need dimensions, so I'm going to freeze those. I don't need to see electrical work, so I'm going to freeze that. I don't need to see furniture. And I can just go through and I can click these little suns here, and those will freeze those layers in my drawing. For instance, plumbing here, I'll click on that, and you'll see that now as soon as this goes away, all of the plumbing is frozen. But there is another way to do this, and you might remember, and below the layers here are a couple little buttons right here, and one of them is freeze right here. Now you want to make sure that we're not turning layers off. We want to make sure that we're freezing layers. We're always freezing layers. We're never turning layers off. So if I click the freeze button, my cursor turns into a little pick box, and I can pick and choose those layers that I want to freeze, like text. So I'll just click it and my text is frozen. Or furniture, I'll click that and that's frozen. This wall hatching, that's frozen. I'll click the ceiling stuff and that's frozen. I probably don't even need appliances, so I'll freeze my appliances too. So now I have a bare bones plan of what I want to copy over to the right here to help me work on my elevations. So I'm going to start with this left wall here. And I'm going to copy, I'll click on copy or C for the keyboard command. And I'm just going to select everything here on that wall. So just a refresher, if I am creating a blue box, I'm selecting everything that is within the blue box and only what is completely in the blue box. And let me just escape, try that again. And if I go to the left and I select a crossing box, anything that touches that green box is selected. But in this case, what I want to do is I only want to select this stuff. So I'll pick a base point and I'm going to move it over here. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to rotate it. And I'll turn my ortho on. So now I have this wall here. The inside face of the wall is down here below. This is outside up here. And then what I will do is I'll draw my elevation right below it. All right, that's good. So now let me do the same thing. I'm going to copy CO is the shortcut, keyboard shortcut, and I will just select that area and I'll move that over here. And lastly, this piece of wall here, I'm going to copy that, click on copy, move that over here, and then I'll rotate this. So now we have our three walls. This is this left wall here. This is the west wall back here that is got the fireplace. And then this is the wall with the sliding glass door. And we'll create three elevations right here below them. So these will help us as guides as we're creating our elevations. Okay.
Paul,
Yeah.
do you need, it's Rebecca. Hello.
Hi, Rebecca.
Do you need to have that little corner upper tier cabinet, the purple that's right there?
I don't think it would hurt to have it. No, I don't think you need it, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to have it. So
Okay.
we know where the millwork is. Yeah, I don't think that's bad. All right. So I think what I'm going to start with is, I'll start with this elevation here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a rectangle that represents that elevation for each one of these. And so on this one, the back of the wall, well, I guess we will use that, Rebecca, because the back of the wall, the end of the wall for this is right here, right at this point of the end of the millwork. Yeah, if you remember, there's a wall that comes, let me go back here. So this wall actually is coming out and this millwork is hitting that wall. So the left side of our wall is going to be here. And I'm just going to draw a line and I'll just go from here. I'm just going to come right down. It's just a guideline. It's just going to help me locate this. And then over on the right side, I'm going to draw a line from this corner. This is a corner of the room. This is the inside corner of the room, the end of this line. Not this line. This is the corner of the outside of the building. So the thickness of the wall comes around here. So we want to make sure that we've got this corner selected. And by the way, I have my O snaps on, set to endpoint. And just as a refresher, my snaps are set down here. And if you don't have your snaps set correctly, you can, you know, toggle them on and off the little checkpoint. I usually have endpoint, midpoint, center. I have quad, quadrant, intersection, insertion, that's the insertion point of a block, perp, perpendicular, and I also like to have nearest selected too. Okay, so I'm going to draw a guideline down here. And, and I'll just draw a line across perpendicular to there, and that will represent the floor of our elevation. And our ceiling height is 8 feet. If you look at the south elevation drawing, there are some dimensions there to give you a clue, but it's 8 feet high. So I'm going to offset. And I'll just go to the offset command, which is right up here. Or I can just, from the keyboard, just type O for offset. And AutoCAD is asking me for an offset distance. I'm going to tell it 8 feet. And I will offset up. And now what I'll do is I'll just trim or fillet. I'll fillet these. And now I have my first elevation. It's lined right up. So when we're putting our windows in, we can just draw guidelines from these wall plans here and come in, and it will locate our windows exactly where they need to be. And this will just help us out a lot. All right, so let's go and do this one. And I'm going to start by drawing the floor on this one. And I want my elevations to all line up if possible. So I'm going to start just with the line tool here. I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to draw a line across. And then I will, just like I did for the other one, I'll start at the corners of the room, that line there, and I'll come down perpendicular. And this line here, come down perpendicular. And we have a pitched roof here, but the roof comes down to 8 feet over on this side. So again, I'm going to offset. This time I just typed not zero, O for the keyboard command, and then I'll just type 8 feet and then offset up. And let me just go to my notes here. And that the peak of the roof up here is actually 12 feet off the ground. So I'm going to offset 12 feet. Draw that line, and then I'm just going to do some filleting, or again, you could trim, but I'm just going to fillet here and clean this up. And I will, this is just going to act as a guideline for me. This line here is going to be just more or less a guideline for us. So I'm going to draw the pitch or the peak of this gabled roof here. And I'll just go to my line tool, and I'll go from this intersection, that's right at 8 feet high, to the midpoint of this guideline up here, right? So I'll just go around, and there's the midpoint. Click there, and then I'll just come down here. I have my ortho on. You can leave it on if you want, but if you turn it off, you can sort of see what you're doing a little better. And I'm just going to go to this intersection right there. And I'll just hit enter. And I don't need this guideline anymore, so I'll just erase that. Oops. And I don't need this guideline here, so I'll just erase that. And then I'll either trim or fillet. I'll just fillet here and here. And there we have the end of our room here, and we'll have our fireplace in here, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just do the same thing for this last wall over here. So again, I want my elevations to line up. So I'll start at the floor of this, and I'll just draw across. maybe I'll try to go a little bit faster on this one. And then I'll just draw a line over here. Come down perpendicular, draw a line over here. And then offset 8 feet, offset 8 feet. And I'll fill it this and this, and I'll fill it this and this. And if you remember, we've got, let me just go back to the plan here just to make things. I don't have a, okay, we'll use this plan here. So on this elevation here, we have a corridor that comes across here, and the wall doesn't turn in toward us like it does for these elevations. The wall turns, you know, away from us. So I want to show part of this corridor as part of this elevation. So so I'm going to leave these walls or this ceiling and this floor a little bit farther. I'm going to let that extend beyond the edge of this, the corner here of the elevation. So I'm just going to use trim and just trim that out right here. All right. So there are my 3 elevations, and let's start with this one, because this is the interesting one. So we've got a big fireplace in the middle, and we've got custom millwork on both ends. So let's start. I'll start with the fireplace, or at least locate the fireplace. So, you know, we would have to go back to our plans, right, and figure out, okay, what is the dimension of the fireplace and how far is it off each end? But now we can just use this piece of elevation to help us. So I'm just going to draw a line from here down to there, down to there, and then I will just trim. Okay. Let me talk about one of the changes between 2020 and 2021. And you may have this set, there's now a default where you can toggle 2 different ways to trim. And I think everyone has the same default, but let me show you how they both work. In previous versions, in older versions of AutoCAD, this is how the trim command worked. You click on trim, and then what you would have to do is you would have to select the cutting edges that the edges that you want to cut against. So I would select this edge, and then I would hit enter, and then it would ask for the object to trim. And then I would select this piece of the line, and it would trim it to this cutting edge right there. So if I want to, let me do that again. So if I go to trim, it would ask for the cutting edge. I would select that cutting edge, and then I would hit enter, and then I would select the edge that I want to trim. That's how it worked in older versions. Let me undo. In newer versions, and I believe this does include 2020, but the difference is that now you can go back and forth. There is a toggle command called trim extend mode, TRIM, as in trim, extend mode. And it's a toggle. So that means you either have it on or off. 0 would be off, and 1 would be on. Those are your only 2 options, is 0 and 1. And mine is set to 0. If I set it to 1, now my trim command works a little differently. I select trim, and I want to trim this portion of the wall. I no longer have to select this cutting edge. AutoCAD makes an assumption that is the edge that I want to trim, and allows me to trim a lot faster and a lot easier. So again, I believe that in 2020, you're already able to trim in that manner. But in 2021, you now have the option of going back and forth. For those that are using 2020, is this the way that you trim? Just the way I just did it just now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So big deal, right? Why do we want to go backward to an older version of the way that you trim? I'm not sure, but this is one of the changes in 2020, 2021. And I just wanted to make you aware of it. All right. So moving on, I'll start, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the millwork on this side, and then we'll just use the mirror command or tool, and then mirror it on this side. It's, you know, it'll just be the same. So I'll start by, we've got a toe kick, and a toe kick is usually 4 inches, and it is in this case. So I'm gonna offset 4 inches. And while I'm at it, I'll just go to trim and just trim it out this part, because the fireplace is going to come all the way down. We're not going to put a wood toe kick over the fireplace stone. All right. And then I've got the top of the millwork is at 3 feet. So I can do a couple different ways. I can offset like I've been doing before, or we can use O tracking, right? And if I have this this button just to the left of my snap-on, I'll be able to O track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line that's 3 feet from the floor, and it's going to run across. I'll go over to my line tool, and I'll hover. I'm hovering. I'm not clicking. I'm just hovering over that corner, or that bottom corner there, and I'm moving up. And I'll just type 3 feet. And now, well, I did that wrong. Let me try that again. Go up 3 feet. Let me just make sure that I've got that tracking on. All right, I'm going to go up here, because what it was doing is it was snapping to something else. So I just want to make sure that I'm off, and I'm telling it what direction up, and I'll just say 3 feet. If this doesn't work, I'm giving up. Oh, somehow I hit offset, right? Okay, 36 or 3 feet. There it is. And then I will come across perpendicular. And I have, that is the top of our millwork base cabinet. And then we're going to make the thickness of the top 1.5 inches. So that I will offset. I'll just hit O for offset 1.5. Just offset down 1.5 inches. Okay. Now I have some trim that's running across. Well, let's just see what else I've got here. I have the top. We have the top of our millwork here, and we've got a crown molding up at the top of our millwork. And the top of that crown molding is 7 feet 9.5 inches. And if you look to the right on that west elevation, there is that 7, 9.5. So I'm just gonna well, let's do the O tracking again. So I'll start at this corner, and I'm moving up. I'm not clicking on that corner. I'm just hovering to catch it, and then I'll just type 7 foot 9.5, 7 foot 9.5. There it is, and I'll just go perpendicular and get. So that will be the top of our crown molding. And so now let's look at the crown molding. Let me go back to here. And somewhere on here is some crown molding. There it is. So it comes down 4 inches plus another inch. So it's 5 inches total. And we're going to see there is a flat part. This is the front of the crown molding, and this is the back. It's sort of facing this way. So at the top, there's a 1-inch flat piece, and then the OG, or the curved portion, is gonna run here, and then there's a 1/2 inch down at the bottom. So we want to draw that. So we want to offset 1 inch from the top of the crown molding, and then a 1/2 inch from the bottom of the crown molding, so we can get that corner and that corner showing up on our elevation. So let me move this out of the way. So I'm going to offset, the total was 5 inches. So I'll start with 5. So that's the top of the crown molding, and that's the bottom of the crown molding. And now I have that flat part, 1-inch flat part. So again, I'll hit offset 1 inch over here. And then from the bottom of the crown molding, we have a 1/2 inch. So I'll offset a 0.5. Oops, offset 0.5. In general, for curved surfaces, we don't show on the elevation, we generally don't show that curved surface, how that's curving back. So when we're looking at it in elevation, we're just sort of seeing a a solid or continuous area there. But where we have a nice sharp corner, this one turns back into the curve, and this one turns out into the curve. We're going to show those. So there is our crown molding in elevation. Now we have some trim. We have 3-inch trim that's running on both sides, and we're also going to have 3-inch trim that's running in the middle. So I will use my line tool here, and I'll start here, and I'm O-tracking off to the right, 3. And my O-tracking is really not cooperating with me today. Hovering, and I'll go across. I'm going to go over here. I'm going way over here, so I'm not actually accidentally clicking on or snapping onto some other piece of line, which is what it's been doing. And then I'm just going to type 3 and enter, and then go up to perpendicular to the bottom of my crown molding. And then I have 3 inches over here in the middle. Well, I know where my middle point is, so let's just draw a guideline from the middle.
Paul,
Yeah,
does it tell us that it's 3 inches anywhere?
no, I'm telling you it's 3 inches.
Okay, so we should mark it down.
Yeah, please. So I have this guideline that's right at the beginning. So what I'll do is I'll offset in both sides, both directions, 1/2 of 3 inches, which is 1.5 inches. And then I'll get rid of the guideline, and that will give me my my vertical, my 3-inch vertical that's right dead center. So let me offset 1.5 that way and that way. And I'll just get rid of this. And then I need the 3 inches over here. So I can O-track over and draw that line, or I will mirror. I'll mirror this. So I'll just, MI is the keyboard shortcut for mirror. Click on that. And I'll go right to the midpoint here. And then make sure that my ortho is on so that my lines are straight. Click, and there I have my vertical trim pieces. And so there's going to be shelves that go across, and really this is more than just a trim piece. This is a support piece, because to have to go all this way continuously without any kind of support, that's asking a lot for for shelves to be able to hold, and then those shelves need to hold books or something. So this is actually going to serve a structural purpose here, and will support these bookshelves. All right, so my first shelf is, I'm looking at my handout here, and it is 1'3" from the top of my my counter here. So let me torture myself and use O-tracking again. And I'll go up 1'3". Oh, boy. It's going to go up 1 foot 3, enter. There it is. And I'll go across. And the thickness of the shelf is going to be 1.5 inches. So I will offset that 1.5. And I'm going to offset it down because the 1 foot 3 was from the top of the from the counter to the top of the shelf. And then my next shelf is 1 foot 1 up. And what I can do the same thing, or what I can do is I could just copy up 1 foot 1. Right. So I'll just click copy and I'll select a crossing, the green box, to select both of those lines. Or I could have just clicked on both of them, either way. And I'll just click a point somewhere out here. It doesn't matter. And I'll just go up. I want to make sure that my ortho is on. I'll just go up 1 foot 1. 1 foot 1. There's my next shelf. And then I can go up again. This time I would have to double it though. I'll go 2 foot 2 and select the other one. Or what I could do is I could copy again. So I'll copy, I'll click copy. I'll select this shelf here. And I'll start. This time I'll select this point here. So I want to copy from this point to this point, and that should move it up. So I'll start here. Go to here. And now I've got my shelves. So I can, now I need to put these shelves over here. So I could mirror them, right? Just like I did with this piece of trim here. Or I could copy, right? I could do either. So I'm going to click copy. So I'll select all of my shelves. And I'm going to go here. I just do a crossing box to select them all real quick for myself. Hit enter. And now I need a base point. So I'll start here. And then I'll go to here. So I'll start at that point there. I'll copy them to over there. Lovely. So I've got my shelves, I got my crown molding. The only thing I need now are my are the doors on my base cabinets. So so let's look at those. Now, I'll tell you right now that those doors are going to be 19 inches wide by 30 inches high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rectangle tool right up here. And just somewhere, I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'll go 19. We start in the X direction, which would be across, and then we go up. So 19, comma, what did I say? 30. So there is a door. And there's some rails and stiles on this door. So, and they are 2 inches. So I'm going to offset 2 inches. And that is going to be the rails and stile on my door. And, you know, while I'm at it, why don't I just finish this off and show the direction of the swing? So when you're drawing doors, and this applies to real doors or base cabinet doors or any kind of door, anything that has a hinge, what we do is, I can use my line tool here. We draw this, we go from one corner to the midpoint on the other side, and then to the corner down here. And what this symbol, and then this line is shown as dashed or dot or hidden. So let's see if I have any hidden line. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn all of this other stuff on. So, okay, so we can just do that now. So let me just go over to my line, my layers here. And wherever I have a little snowflake, I will turn all of those layers back on. because I want all of this stuff to be showing. And the only reason I turned it off was so that I didn't have to deal with it when I was copying those walls over here on the left. So so where do I have dashed lines, right? If I go over to my lighting plan or maybe my floor plan, I can see I have these dashed lines here, right? But I can't see them when I am in model space. Darn it all. Well, there is another command that we didn't talk about in CAD 1, and I will bet you that Jane didn't talk about it either. And it is a model space line type scale. And again, model space line type scale is a toggle. It can either be on or off. So the options for it will be either 0 or 1. So I'm going to type in on my keyboard MS for model space, LT for line type, and scale. And so you'll notice that AutoCAD is finishing it for me. MSLT scale knows what I want to do. I'll just hit enter. And you'll notice that my value for my MSLT scale toggle is set to 0. And it's right down here. And that means that it's turned off. And AutoCAD leaves it off by default. Why? I'm not sure, but it does. So I'm going to turn it on, and I'm just going to turn it on by typing in 1. I just hit 1, and it says that there, new value for MSLT scale is 1. And I don't see anything happening, right? Well, what we need to do is we need to regenerate our drawing. We need to tell AutoCAD to redraw this thing. And AutoCAD draws it really, really, really fast. So, but we just need to tell it to do it. And we do that with the regen command. REGEN is regen. And when I just hit it, now look at, I can see all of my dashed lines and my hidden lines, or whatever my line types were on my drawing. So this is super cool. I'm able to now in Paperspace see all of that.
They're gonna break up the chair.
All right. So what I need to do is I need to change this to a hidden line. So there's a couple ways to do it. And one way is I can match properties and choose, a hidden line here, and then match properties and select these lines. But when I do that, what it's going to do is it's going to change it to that layer too. So I'll need to change the layer back. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to select one of the lines, or I could select both of them. And then over here in the properties palette right here under line type, I'm just going to click. Well, I'm going to click hidden 2 here. And now I've changed that to a hidden line. And now I can do the same thing for the other line, but this time, because I haven't used match properties yet, and I wanted to show it to you, just to remind you about it. It's right here. I'll click on it. I'll select that, and then select that. Yeah.
It's Rebecca. I have a question that you should have asked a long time ago. Line weight medium, is that what we're gonna, why are we on that layer?
Because for our elevations, most of our lines will be on line weight medium. And okay, later on, when we're getting ready to finish this off and polish it up, we will adjust some of these line weights and make them lighter or darker. So, or both. But for now, we're just going to draw on line weight medium.
Okay.
Okay, so this represents a door, right? I have this door, and what this is telling my mill worker is that where these two angled lines connect, right here, where they come to a point, that's where the hinges are going to be. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the hinge is going to be right here, but it's this side of the door that the hinges are on. So there will probably be a hinge up here, and there'll probably be a hinge up down here. But the convention is to show this dashed line so that it comes right to the midpoint of the door. And that tells my mill worker that when you design this door, put the hinge on this side. All right, so I've got 4 doors, and I have a little, I'm going to have a section here in the middle here that is going to be open. So, well, I guess what I'm going to do is I want to have a set of doors over here, and I want to have a set of doors over here, and I want these doors to line up next to each other, or well, you know what? Let's mirror this. Let me go to mirror. And I'll just select this end piece, mirror this. Do I want to delete the source object? No. So now I have 2 doors, and I'm going to have that here, and I'm going to have that here. So I want these doors to align with the center of this shelf here, and then I want 2 more doors to align with the center of this shelf here. And there'll be sort of a gap here and here and here. And what that is, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure I even care. So let's draw a guideline. And I'm going to draw a guideline from the midpoint of one of these shelves. Could be any one of them. So that's telling me that this edge of these 2 doors is going to align with this guideline here. So let's see what happens when I move this. So I'll go over to move, select both of the doors, and then I'm going to click that endpoint. Yeah, I'll turn my ortho off here. And then I'm going to move it to that intersection right there. And looks like there's a little gap here, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And I might, if I really wanted to tweak this, what I might do is I might move it down so there's an equal gap on both sides, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So now I don't need that guideline anymore. And now what I can do is I can mirror this, right? So that I have these doors here on this side. So I'll go over to mirror, select the doors. And then I need the midpoint. Well, I can't pick the midpoint of that, but I'll pick the midpoint of the countertop here. And I'll turn my ortho back on. And there we go. So there is, I think, pretty much all of our millwork. And there are a couple duplex outlets, one here and one here, in case, you want to put, I don't know, something that lights up, maybe Christmas decorations or something. I don't know what you would put there. But yeah.
For the dashed lines on those cabinet doors, do we have to adjust the length of those lines? Because it looks like in the drawing, like the printout, that there are more dashes, if that makes sense. And I know when Jane would adjust the line whatever 0.751, whatever it was.
I think that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. We haven't talked about custom line weights or line types yet, and I'm going to talk about that later on this semester. But yeah, that's a good point. So why don't I'm just going to select a couple of them here, and then I'll go over to my properties. I have my properties sort of just collapsed off to the left, but if yours is floating, that's fine. And just a reminder to get to properties, if I can remember myself, you go over to view, the view tab here, and then you click on properties, and you should be able to get your properties palette up. And again, I just keep my properties docked on the left, and I just leave it collapsed so that when I hover over, I can select them. So the line type scale, yeah, let's just bring it down. Let's see what 0.5 looks like. Actually, that looks okay. So I'm just going to leave mine at 0.5, and then I need to change the other ones. So again, I can select them and go to properties, or I can go back home, click my match properties, select that one, and then select the others. Good call. I wasn't thinking about that. All right. So the last thing we have here are a couple duplex outlets that are going to be sort of set in into the millwork, into the back of the millwork there. And we'll get those from our 2D blocks. So to get the blocks palette, if you remember, what I like to do is I like to type the letter I for insert. And as soon as I do that, my block palette comes up. And what I need to do is I need to search for my 2D blocks. And I happen to be right there where I need to be, but I'm going to click on the little button right here. And again, I'm going onto my jump drive here. And in fact, I'm looking at CAD 1. So what I'll do is I'll go to my jump drive, and I'm going to train myself to look into the CAD folder here. And then I will look for 2D blocks, and I will go over to my symbols. And there it is. Wait, is that? I'm not sure if that's an elevation or not. You know what? Actually, here's what I'll do. I'll go up. I'll go over to symbols, and I'll just hit open. And now yeah, there it is. So I'll pull in my duplex outlet. Now you could eyeball it if you want. I tend to be, super anal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. I'm moving it. I'm using the move command, and I'll select the midpoint here. And I'm going to put it at, I'll turn off my ortho just so you can see a little better. I'm going to put it at the midpoint of that shelf. And then I will move it down. I'll put my ortho back on, so I'm moving exactly down. And I'll move it down there. That I will just eyeball. Because, I'm not a fan of when, they look like that. So I just want them to be the same. And then I'll just copy, or I'll mirror this. All right. So there are my shelves. Okay, so let's look at the fireplace. And I guess what I could do, and then I could just mirror this, right? So I'll just click mirror, and I'll just do a selection window here. And I'll just go from the midpoint. I'm telling you, mirroring is just so nice. You can save so much time. All right, so let's look at our firebox here. And I have a hearth here, or a ledge that is 18 inches off the ground. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to use my line tool. I'm going to try it again. I'm hovering over here. I'm going up, and I'll type 18. There we go. I'll go across. So there is the top of my ledge, and that ledge is going to be 2 inches. That's what it's drawn on your plan or on your elevation, and I'll leave it at 2 inches. Between you and me, I think if this is going to be a stone ledge, I like to see something more. I would like to see 3 or even 3.5 inches. I just like to see the gravitas of it, But we'll leave it at 2. That's perfectly fine. All right. So now let's look at the actual fireplace itself. So there's a curved portion to the fireplace. Well, all right, let's go back to here so we can look at it. So there's a curved, this, will probably be some sort of stone header of some sort or some material. And this is going to be 8 inches in thickness. And the bottom to the bottom of this header, from the top of this ledge to the bottom of this curved piece, is going to be 2 feet 5 inches from here to here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset here to get this bottom, and then I'll offset another 8 inches to get this top here. So that we'll be able to get this curve. Well, I'm not going to be able to get this curve until I know what this height is. And this height here is 1 foot 10. So let's start with that. So I'm going to use my offset, and I'll start with 2 foot 5, 2 feet 5. And I'll offset that up, and that's going to be a guideline for me. And then another 8 inches. So this will be the top of the curve, or this will indicate the center point of this will be where the center of the top of the curve is there. And the bottom of the curve was, what did I say? 1 foot 10. So I will offset while I'm at it, 1 foot 10. Okay, so now we have heights figured out, but what the heck is the width of the fireplace? Well, we already know that, right? Width is up here. So I'm just going to draw a guideline that comes down to there. And I'll draw another one that goes perpendicular to there. So that is the width of, our actual, the firebox itself, that actual fireplace. All right, so now I'm going to draw a curve that goes from this intersection to the midpoint to the intersection here. So we'll go to arc, do a 3-point arc, and I'll start with this intersection. And then I'll turn off ortho just so you can see it a little better. You can leave ortho on, it'll still work, but I'm just gonna, just so you can see it. And I'm gonna find the midpoint, right? So I'm gonna slide along, there it is, there's the midpoint. And then I will click there. And I have my 3-point arc. And actually, I don't even really need this guideline, because what I can do is I can offset the arc. So let's try that. So I'll hit O for offset, 8 inches. There we go. So now I need the sides of this. And what I want to do is I don't know if it's going to go perpendicular there, but let's just see. So I'm going to start with this, and yeah, so I'll just go to this edge here, or that end, and while I'm at it, I'll just draw this one.
Paul, can you go over the perpendicular line heights again? Those 3 lines right there.
Well, actually, I didn't do perpendicular. What I actually did an endpoint.
No, the 3. I'm sorry, the 3 horizontal lines. 1, 2, 3.
The 3-point arc. The 3-point arc. Oh, sure. Oh, yes, of course. Well, let me just erase it and redo it. So here's the arc tool right here, and by default, it's usually set to 3-point. And if I just hover over it, you'll see 3-point. But if it's not, for some reason, there are a whole bunch of different kinds of arcs. Just click on the little down arrow here and make sure that you have 3-point arc selected.
Sorry, I meant, what are the height? How much did you offset those 3 lines? The guidelines to make the arc. Is that 1.5, 2.5, and 8?
You mean this line here?
Yes.
Oh, that line is 1 foot 10 from the top of the shelf, of the ledge here. So what I did was I offset this line 1 foot 10 to get this point here, this intersection right here. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, then the other 2 lines, how much are those? Both 8 inches then offset from the 110?
Wait, let me draw my arc back. These lines, this line and this line?
No, the lines above.
Oh, this line in here, this line?
Yes.
This line is, I can tell you, 2 feet 5 from here, from again, the top of the ledge up, it's 2 feet 5. And this line here, I actually don't even need. Because once I have this arc here, all I need to do is offset this arc 8 inches. So I'll just set my offset to 8 inches. And I've got it there. Are you good?
I think so.
Are you sure?
No, I don't know why I'm so confused. The bottom line is 1 foot 10 inches or 2 foot 5 inches. The first line you offset.
That's right. This line is 2 foot 5.
Okay, and then the one beneath it.
And then this one is 1 foot 10.
Okay,
So you're going to start from this intersection. We're at the 1 foot 10 height. And then you're going to go up to the 2 foot 5 height and then back down to the 1 foot 10 height.
okay, got it.
Okay. All right. So now what I need to do is I need to get the back of the firebox in back here. So so let me, to prevent further confusion, let me get rid of these guidelines. I'm gonna, the back of the firebox is 18 inches above the ledge here. So now I'm gonna offset 18 inches or 1 foot 6, either one. So that's the back of the height of the back of the firebox, and then it sort of curves or it angles up toward the front. So I can go. So this back of this is the back of the firebox here, and I'm going to start with that corner, and I'm going to come down perpendicular. Okay, this one. And now I will use my fillet to clean this up. So that is the back of the firebox, and then the sort of the roof of the firebox sort of angles up to the flue, which is running, you know, up here in the middle. So what I need to do is I need to just show this corner here and here. So let me just draw this line, and I'm going from this corner, and now I'm going to go perpendicular. I'm going to find my perpendicular, there it is, to this curve. And I'll just do it again on this side. From that corner, come up and slide along until I find perpendicular, and just hit enter. And then the last thing I need to do is just trim out, or actually, you know what I'll do? I'll fill it. And there is my lovely fireplace. Okay, so now I've got a hearth, or I'm sorry, a ledge up at the top, and that is, and I don't think this dimension's shown either, which is 4 foot 3. So I'll offset 4 foot 3.
Sorry, Paul, where did you offset that 4 foot 3 from?
Again, from the top of the ledge down at the bottom of the fireplace. Now let's just see if I have the corbel here. I think I do. I don't think that I do. All right, I don't have it. So I am going to, I'm going to draw it. So bear with me. I'm going to draw this corbel for you all. Now you don't necessarily have to draw this corbel, but I think, you know, I'm gonna draw this whole shelf here. That's going to have the corbel on it. So the shelf is, I'm just going to draw a line here. The shelf will come out, put my ortho on. The shelf will come out, I don't know, some distance, I will say, let's just say 10 inches. And it's going to come down an inch. It's going to go back. And then there is another piece here. That comes back an inch and it comes down 2 inches. It comes over. I'm drawing this in section, not in elevation. And then I've got a corbel down here. So that is going to be, let's say it's coming from the midpoint. And I'm sorry, I should have had this before for you all. It's going to come down to two inches. And it's going to come down another 8 inch. Oh no, a total of 8 inches. So it's going to, I'm going to go over to draw. I'm going to choose my spline fit here. And that's a little gawky, but
Paul, would you like us to draw this too?
no, I don't think that you need to draw this, but I want to draw it so at least you know what it is that you're going to be drawing here. So that's a little bit awkward, but this is actually the you know, that mantle that's going to be up above the fireplace. So this dimension will be, here, let me add some dimensions here. Let's change my LT scale. And again, this is not what you need to be doing, but well, okay. All right. So this is going to be 1 inch, this edge. This is going to be 2 inches. And this whole corbel here is going to be 8 inches. So this is kind of the profile, the side view or section through this mantle here. So this is the top, we're at the top of the mantle here, which was 4'3". And I said, so the first one is 1 inch. So I'm going to offset 1 inch. And then I'm going to offset 2 inches. And then I have the corbel, which will be 8 inches. Well, I'm going to have 2 corbels, one here and one here. So those corbels, let me just look at my notes here. They look like they're 6 inches across. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw these corbels here, and I'm just going to use the rectangle tool. And we're going to go across 6 inches, and I'm going to go up 8. And then I have a 2-inch edge here toward the top of the corbel. So I'll use my line tool, and again, I'm going to use my O tracking, and I'll start here. I'm hovering, and I'm coming down 2 inches, and then across. Okay. So now the
And
edge,
what was the width on that again?
6 inches wide, 8 inches high. So those are our corbels. And the edge of the corbel, this edge of the corbel here, will be 12 inches off the side of the fireplace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset 12 inches. And now what I can do is I can move this whole corbel. This corner of it will be right at this intersection there.
Could you go back to your cross-section drawing and just show where the 2 inches on the corbel you drew, what part
Yeah.
that corresponds to the,
That's this right here.
oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I need a corbel on the other side. So again, I'll just mirror this quickly. And the last thing that I need is a sconce here. And I think that in the blocks, let me open up my blocks palette here. If I go over to my 2D blocks, let me see here. If I go to accessories, porch light. Not sure what it is. Let's see what this porch light looks like. No. Let me try that again. Oh, I know where it is. It's in Blackboard. So if you go, oops, wrong thing. That's my email. So if you go over to your Blackboard and go to, hopefully in today's class, or project 8 here, there it is, the fireplace sconce. So I'm in Blackboard here, and what I'm going to do is I will right click on this, and I will click Save Link As, and I'll go down to my USB, my CAD folder, my 2D blocks, and I'm gonna put it in accessories and plants. So I'll just put it in there and click Save. Now I should have my fireplace sconce in there. So now let me go here to accessories and plants. There it is, fireplace sconce. Open. There it is. And I'll just pull it in. So I want it to be centered on this corbel. So what I'm going to do is for my insertion point, I'm just going to find a place on the portal, on the corbel, the center line of the corbel. I'll just choose a point there. And then I'm going to just move it up. And I'm just going to use, put on my ortho. I'm just going to move up, and I'm just going to find a place that makes me happy. I'm just going to put it there. Just for now, that's fine. And then I'll mirror it, or I could copy it, put it up on the other side. All right. So the last thing that I have is I actually have that beam that's over here. And that beam is, how wide was that beam? That beam was 8 inches. So I'm going to draw a line from here, and I'm going to come down 6 inches. And then I said it was 8 inches, so I'm going to offset 4. trim this. So I got my little beam up there. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some stone here. I want to see a stone fireplace here. So now we are definitely going to change our layer. We don't want our hatching to go on the lime weight medium. So what I'm going to do is find my hatch layer right here, and I'm going to set my layer to hatch. I'm going to close this right now because I don't need that. And I'm going to put in a hatch pattern in here. So I'll go up to, I'm so used to using the keyboard command for hatching. Yeah, hatch is right here, or I'll type, H for hatch. And it's asking me for the insertion point, and what it will do is it'll remember the last hatch that I was using, which in this case was a solid. So what I want to do is I want to change that hatch pattern, and I want to find gravel. There it is, gravel. And if I click on it, it's gonna do the gravel, but at a really, really tiny scale. So let's change the scale of that gravel. Right now it's set at 1 inch, and I'm gonna set to 20. See what that's how that comes up. I'll put that in, and that looks a lot better. So I'll click on that. I'll put some gravel there, hatch pattern there. And now I've got my stone fireplace. Looks pretty good. I could play with this. I could play with the scale of this. I could just click on this. And if I don't like that, I could make it, I could make it bigger or smaller. Let's see what 18 looks like. No, I'll leave it at 20. All right. So now I have my, I think I've got my west elevation in pretty good shape. So let's move over to, let's see, what time is it? 30. Yeah, let's do this one. We'll see how far we go. Let's do this elevation. And I think I'm going to do myself a favor and save my drawing. So over on this side, let's just go back to the floor plan. So we're looking at this elevation here, and we've got millwork running along here to this point. This section, this area of the wall is 12 feet 1, and then we are going to move to the addition here, and we're going to have a bulkhead or a drop soffit at this point right here, where we're transitioning from a flat ceiling to a pitch ceiling over here. So back here at my elevation, I have my ceiling is here at 8 feet, and let me see. Yeah, when I drew this wall, I broke it into 2 pieces. I've got this piece and I've got this piece, and the edge of the millwork, which is right here, sort of aligns with the end of the kitchen. So the kitchen portion of the wall is there, and then the new addition wall is there, and it happens right at this the edge of this millwork. So I'm going to draw a line down. Oops, I'm on my hatch layer, aren't I? So let's go back to my medium layer, line weight medium. And let's change that layer that I drew. So that's on the medium layer. And I've got, so I have a bulkhead here, so, and it's 12 inches deep. So I'll just offset 12. And it's 5 inches wide, so I'll offset 5. Offset 5. And I'm offsetting to the right, not to the left. I don't want to offset into the kitchen. I want to offset in the other direction. And then I'll just trim this up. So I'm going to use fillet. Oops, I don't want to do that. This part, I guess I'll trim. And then I'll trim this here. So this bulkhead will sort of define, this is the kitchen area here, and then this is the family room or the addition over here. And I think I'll just also draw a line that comes down right here. All right. All right, so the first thing I'll do is draw a floor base. Floor bases generally are 4 inches or sometimes 6, depending on, you know, what you're doing, but in this case, it's going to be 4. So I will offset 4. Just come up 4. And I've got off to the left here, I have the cabinetry. So let's go back to here so we can see. So I'm going to be I'm looking at this, and so we'll sort of be cutting through this piece of millwork here. I'll be looking to the left. So we're going to see the side of this millwork here. All right. And that's off on the left. So I'm going to use my O tracking. I'm going to find that edge and then go up. I do not know why O tracking is not cooperating with me. And I'm going to go up to 10.5, 2 foot 10.5. And we're going to go over 2 foot 1. I think that was our cabinet width. And the thickness of the actual countertop is going to be 1 1/4 inches. So let me offset that 1.25. And now to close this off. And let's just draw the rest of the cabinet. So this was 3 foot 1 or 2 foot 1, and the actual cabinet width will actually be just 2 feet. So again, I'm going to do line, and I'm going to do O tracking. I'm going to start at this point, go over. One inch. Then I'll come down to here. And we're going to do our toe kick. Our toe kick goes in to the left 3 inches. Now, the toe kick is 4 inches high, which is the same height as our baseboard. And I think I'm just going to use grip edit here, pull that grip over there. So now I have the side of my base cabinet drawn, and I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm just going to draw. Remember, we've got a long cabinet here and elevation, so I'm going to extend. I'm not extending. I'm drawing 2 new lines across, and that's going to represent the top, the cabinet top of where the sink is. The sink will be somewhere over here. Okay. So So there's my base cabinetry, just kind of blocked out. We don't have all the doors or anything for that set. And actually, you're going to design it yourself. So, you know, you might want to be thinking about that. But we've got it blocked out at this point, and that's good. So now we have wall cabinets. Remember that there's in general in kitchens, there's 3 kinds of cabinets. There's base cabinets, wall cabinets, and tall cabinets. Usually tall cabinets, you know, if you have a double oven or something like that, would go in a tall cabinet. So we're going to draw our wall cabinets here. And the bottom of the wall cabinet is 4.5 feet from the floor. So I'm going to offset 4'6". And so let's go back to the plan here. So what I'm showing is this corner cabinet primarily, and we'll see the side of this wall cabinet here. So this wall cabinet is 12 inches deep, and this angled corner cabinet is 2 inches, or 2 feet deep here. So what we're going to do is we're going to offset this from here 1 foot and then another foot. And then we have this little end piece here, which these are shelves that you'll access from the side, just open shelves, I don't know, for plants or something like that. And that is, and those are only 6 inches. Those are really, really short. So, so just so we know what we're drawing here. So I'm going to offset 12. And while I'm at it, I'll just trim this here. Or you know what I'll do? I'll just fill up this. No, I'll trim it. And then I'll offset another 12 inches. And then I'll offset 6 inches. So this is our corner cabinet. So this is, we're looking straight on to the side of that end cabinet where with the open shelves that are on the side. And then over here, this rectangle here, we're looking at the side of the wall cabinet that's above the stove or the range, which will be over here. Or the cabinetry on either side of the stove or the range, because we have a hood. And then this square here, that represents the angled cabinet, the one on the corner. So the angled door will be right here for that cabinet. All right, let's get the cabinets on this side, and they are this time I'll use the O tracking, and I'm going to come here and go across 24 inches. Come up. That cabinet's 24 inches wide. And then we have that 6 inch, just like we have over here, we've got another 6 inch. So I'll just offset 6. And then I'll just trim this out here. So those are, and these are, again, these are not finished, right? But these are just blocked out. So we have, in general terms, what the cabinets over here on the right side, and then this corner cabinet over here on this side. And now we have a window to contend with. So let's start by locating where the window is, top and bottom. And the bottom of the window is 3'4" from the floor. So
Paul,
yeah.
really quick, I don't see that 6-inch shelf on the right side of the window in our elevation drawing, or am I missing it?
This here?
Well, on the other side, I don't see it.
Over here?
Yeah, I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either, but it really should be there.
Okay.
It really should. So, and if it's not there, again, when the time comes for you to flush out these doors, later on in upcoming week or two, we'll adjust that, or we'll add it, or, figure out exactly what to do with that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so I got a window here. Well, I know where it is left and right because I have it up here, right? But what I don't know is the height of it and how far it is off the floor. So when I look at the dimensions on the south elevation, it's 3'4" off the floor. So let's just offset 3'4". And then I'm going to offset the height, which is 3'8". So I'll again offset 3'8". So there we have the bottom of the window and the top of the window. So let's go up here and let's get the side. And let's get this side. And let's get this mullion here. And while we're at it, what the heck? Let's just get this mullion here. Okay, so we got a lot of guidelines here. So what I like to do when I'm drawing windows, I like to use the rectangle tool because it creates a polyline for me, and I just have a lot of, it just makes life a lot easier. So I'm going to click the rectangle tool, and I'm going to choose this intersection right here, the lower left, and the upper right of the overall size of the window. So there I've got a rectangle, and now I can get rid of some guidelines. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So there is the overall, my overall window. These lines represent those midpoint, those mullions in the middle. So first we'll draw the casing, and the casing is 2 inches. So I'm just going to offset 2. And how do I know that the casing is 2? Well, if you remember, the casing is actually the width of the mullion of the window. And if I go to my measure tool, that should be 2 inches wide, and it is. Okay, and then these are, let's trim this. Oop, draw the wrong thing. I'll just get rid of those. And I'm going to offset these 2 inches. And then I'll just trim the rest of this out so it's nice and clean. Beautiful. Okay, so what we're gonna have two operable windows here. There will be casement windows that will either crank open or swing out. But one of the two. It doesn't matter. And then in the middle, we're going to have sort of a fixed picture window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the casement window here, and I have here, if you'll notice, when I select this, I have 3 sides of a rectangle here. And I only have the 3 sides because what I did was I trimmed, you remember this was one big rectangle and I trimmed it here. So so if I offset, and I'm going to offset this 1.5 inches, it's only going to offset those 3. So what I want to do is I want to add this to these 3 here so that I have a new rectangle. Well, there's a couple ways I could do it. I could draw another rectangle, but there is another thing that I can do, and that is use the fillet tool. And you say, well, these already look filleted, and they are. But if, okay, so this piece of a line here, this is called a polyline. And what it is are three sections, three line segments that are all connected together. And they're connected together. I know that because when I select it, all three highlight for me. And what I want to do is I want to join this piece to this piece. And AutoCAD allows me to do it with the fillet tool. So if I go to fillet and I select that polyline, and I select this, now I only need to do it at one corner. Now, when I select it, you'll notice that all four sides are selected. So that makes it nice. So when I offset, and I'm just going to offset an 1.5 inches for this casement window, I'll offset 1.5 inches. That'll just come in. It offset all four sides for me. Now I'll do the same thing on this side. I could mirror this, but I'm gonna actually do it on this side just to make sure that you see it. So what I have here is I have a polyline with 3 line segments. And what I want to do is I want to join this line segment to these 3. So I'll just use the fillet tool and I will select that top segment of the polyline, and then I will select this. And you'll notice just when I hover over it, AutoCAD is telling me I'm going to attach them all, which is exactly what we want. I'll select it, and now I have all 4 line segments connected. So now when I offset, my offset's already set to 1.5, so I'll just hit enter. I can easily offset that, and it's nice and clean and simply done. All right. So the last thing is there, you might have a little handle here, or you might have a crank or something, some piece of hardware of sorts. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of sketch something in, and I'll just use the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to put in a little handle. And I want that handle in the middle of that window. So what I'll do is I'll find, I'm using the move tool. I'm going to find the midpoint, and I'll turn off ortho so you can see, and I'll find the midpoint of the window here. And then I will just move this down with ortho on so that it's right in the middle. And then I can do the same on the other side, or of course I can mirror, or I can copy. I'll mirror. Just select the and there's our kitchen window. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop there for now. I mentioned before, as we proceed with this project, I'm going to give you the opportunity to design all of this millwork. So, you may want to be looking at, KBA or as you're looking at stuff for ideas, just be thinking about it or start sketching ideas out, because you're going to be elevating the details of these elevations on your own. And we're also going to render it. We're going to pull it into Photoshop and do color rendering of your kitchen too. So we have the kitchen. What we need to do for the rest of this elevation is we need to do the side of the millwork for the bookcases here, and then we have 2 windows that we're going to put in. And I think I'm going to wait, and I'm going to do that next week, along with this elevation over here. Okay. So there is nothing formal for you to turn in for next week, but I would like you to get this elevation and, at least as much as I've done, so that you are up to track, kept up with me. and then we'll proceed with the rest of it next time.